Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. I'm back here at one of my special filming spot locations because guess what? We have a special supercar. It's this vehicle right here. This is it. This is a 2026 C8 Corvette ZR1. But before we get into the original nameplate that meant King of the Hill, let's talk about what's going on here. So you heard me correct. Back in 1990, when the ZR1 made its triumphant debut, it was called the King of the Hill. And the reason why is with that 32 valve quad cam V8, something that a Corvette had never seen before. Never was there an overhead cam engine in a Corvette before the 1990 C4 ZR1. It really was a game changer because now you had a higher revving V8, more horsepower than the stock C4 Corvette, and then they built upon that with a lot of groundbreaking victories. One of them being where they ran the engine for 24 hours straight on a racetrack and broke the record for average top speed. Fast forward to C6, we saw the ZR1 come back, and it came back with supercharged power. Now for the C7, we then saw supercharged power again, and it was the last year, the C7, if you remember. That was 755 horsepower. Well, guess what? This has a twin turbo V8 putting out 1,064 horsepower. Now, is it just about horsepower? Of course not. Because when you look at Chevrolet and what they've done with Corvette racing since its inception in the late 1990s with the C5R, they're bringing a Corvette that not only can obliterate supercars in a straight line, but also on the twisty bits and racetracks around the world. So what I want to find out is, at the end of the day, is the ZR1 the must-own supercar? Why don't we go ahead, let's dive into this one and see if we can find out. Right off the bat, love the color. The return of Sebring orange. The fact that it's named Sebring, one of my favorite tracks and races of all time, the 12 Hours of Sebring. It also really gives it that nice, vibrant pop of color that a lot of supercars tend to bring. Now at the front of the business, it's gonna look a lot like a Z06. Remember when the Z06 came out for the C8, it was wider. And that's what they race in the IMSA WeatherTech series, is that C8 GT3R. It's based off of a Z06. This has some of those features, but then magnifies them. So at the front of the business, you're gonna get that 3-inch wider front end. What is that gonna do for us? That's gonna allow larger coolers. So we have all these heat exchangers, massive corner air intakes with your carbon flash metallic. You can actually see the heat exchanger lurking behind, and then you have that extra width. I think one of the favorite parts I love about the style is that you just have that vertical body line that just drops down into the full carbon fiber splitter. Now, this is a 3LZ optioned ZR1, but automatically ZR1s come with the carbon fiber splitter. They actually come with quite a bit of carbon fiber, which I'm going to point out to you, but one of them is going to be that beautiful splitter, fully functional aero to give you the downforce and to stop lift. Now, as we come across the front end, it's my favorite part of any C8. I've always adored the front of a C8 Corvette. So you got your cross flags, that goes all the way back to 1953 with the carbon flash metallic. Then down below, as we drop down, you have the massive lower grille with these openings that you can literally take a Florida orange or a grapefruit and just squeeze right in there. And then you'll notice how you have your body color in that Sebring orange. Makes sense. We're in Florida to have orange, and Sebring is about an hour and a half that way. And then that carbon fiber splitter. Not only does it look good, but it is a functional piece of aero. This one also has the optional front end lift. You just push the button and it lifts the front end, and then you could store over 1,000 different locations in the GPS where it will lift automatically. But let me know what you think about the Sebring Orange on that wider bodywork with the carbon flash metallic and then the carbon fiber. Of course, as we rise up, you have that stealth fighter look. Love the way the lights are another thing that I think just makes the front end of any C8 Corvette look spectacular. Now, the thing that makes the ZR1 look spectacular at the front end is your unique front hood. So this does not have a front mounted trunk. What you get instead is, look at the massive heat exchanger inside there with your honeycomb finish of a metal grill, nice mesh grill. And then you'll notice how they did the aero. This is a piece that was designed for the racetrack on the C8 GT3R and brought to the ZR1. But this is the immediate way you could tell that this is a ZR1. The Z06 does not have this, the E-Ray does not have this, the Stingray does not have this. Only the ZR1 and of course the ZR1X. But let me know what you think about that beautiful metal flake in the Sebring Orange. It actually has a little bit of different color change to it, which looks fantastic. Now, as we come around the bend, what do we got going on? Now, this one doesn't have the carbon fiber wheels and the Z07 package and all that. I don't think we always need to go to that extreme because we have these optional carbon flash metallic painted forged wheels. Yes, it's a complicated design. Yes, it's going to be a little hard to keep clean, but I think it's going to be a labor of love. It's always a labor of love. You have those sun-kissed orange. It's like Fanta soda painted 6-piston Brembo calipers with the Corvette name, and you'll notice that we have those 15.7-inch carbon ceramic rotors. So ZR1 comes with the carbon ceramic rotors, standard, just like the E-Ray. So that's another touch that comes with the ZR1. You're also going to get the magnetic ride suspension. And then when we're talking about tires, I like the way they're bringing the Pilot Sport 4S's. Good tire for grip on the road. Good tire for also if you want to do a track day. Up front is a 20-inch wheel. Tires are going to be 275 on the width and a 30 series sidewall. But I think it was smart to go with the carbon flash metallic on the wheel. And I like the way they did the pop of orange. It's a little darker orange, which I kind of like. I'm glad it's not exactly the same. But you'll also notice how that carbon fiber splitter comes all the way around. Look at that. I mean, that's just a beautiful hunk of carbon fiber. Now, coming down the side of the vehicle, you have carbon flash metallic painted on your A-pillars. And then the convertible top, since this is a convertible, has the carbon fiber showing through. So instead of getting it painted or anything like that, nice to have the carbon fiber just kind of show itself off. Let it be seen, let it be known, because you have all the other carbon fiber bits. Body color on the mirror caps. Let me know if this one should have been optioned with the carbon fiber mirror caps. Maybe that would have been a nice touch to have carbon fiber here and also have carbon fiber up top, because guess what? In the center, you have this unique side fender vent, massive vent, carbon fiber, all that air is gonna go in. You have your ZR1 badge. There's only 2 places on the outside where it says ZR1. This is one of them. And then this vent is totally unique to the ZR1 because you have the opening down below, but then you have the opening up top as well. Lori's gonna show off that side sill extension, carbon fiber, all about channeling air down the side of the vehicle. The one thing that's a bummer is that because this is a convertible, we don't get the top mounted carbon fiber vent. So if you get a coupe, you also have another vent up top here. I wish there was a way they could have figured out to have added that maybe on the side or something, because that's just an extra part of it being a ZR1. Now, carbon flash metallic into the rear pillars, And then let's talk about rear wheel and tire. So this is rear wheel drive, not all wheel drive. If you want all wheel drive, you got to go ZR1X. You can see the Forge name. This is a 21-inch wheel. So you have 20s up front, 21 inches out back. Look at the calipers out back. There's some cars that don't even have calipers that size on the front. And then that rear rotor, it's a little bit smaller, but not much. 15.4 inches in diameter on the rear rotor. Obviously, like I said, the carbon ceramic brakes, and you get an electronic limited slip diff that's been specially tuned for the ZR1 to get the power to the ground. Tires, this is where things get crazy. 345s. That's wider than the tire on my Viper. Vipers are 335, my Gen 2. This is a 345. Talk about a rubber steamroller. But it's basically gonna attach to the asphalt like a piece of Velcro. Coming down the back. I know everybody wanted to probably see the big, huge wing from the Z07 package. I'm kind of glad it doesn't have it, especially convertible. I think the convertible, personally, it looks a little ridiculous when the top's down and then you got that big wing. I actually am digging, maybe I'm getting older, I don't know. I'm digging the lower spoiler with the carbon flash metallic, the body color. This obviously is going to give us our true top speed of the ZR1 compared to the higher wing, that higher pedestal style carbon fiber wing. Now out back, you do have, just like other C8s, you have your honeycomb finish, and you can't see the engine when the top, this tonneau cover top, is down. But watch, we have the see-through window, so just get ready, don't go anywhere. I'm gonna show you that. It would have been nice, I think, if they would have done this a little different for the ZR1. Maybe a different shape, different material, something. But it is nice to have functional, to let that heat out. We got the cross flags. Oh, I know Zora Arcus Duntov would probably be amazed to get behind the wheel of this freaking thing. Now, down below, you got your full LED lighting, just like other C8s, and just like the Z06 and the ZR1X and the E-Ray, you're getting the wider body. So the rear vents are a little shorter, but they're wider. It really makes the rear end of the C8 look so much better than a Stingray. As we come across, you have your Corvette name in the carbon flash metallic. The one thing I would have done is I would have went option and got the exhaust black, because the silver, it just sticks out in a not such a good way. But the rest of this lower diffuser, carbon flash metallic with your honeycomb finish. Of course, you have the GM performance exhaust. You can make the exhaust louder, you can make it quieter. But one thing you gotta realize, remember, is that because this is twin turbos, it's loud. It's not gonna be as loud as a Z06, because when you add the turbochargers, because that uses exhaust gas to spin the turbines of the turbos, you lose some of that sound. Just saying. But why don't we go ahead, I'm gonna pop that tonneau cover so we could see the LT7 V8 that's underneath. All right, guys, before we just go straight to the LT7 twin turbo V8, I wanted to pop the front trunk lid, or just the front lid, because to show you that there is no front mounted trunk. So you have your openings here, that's for the air coming from the front, is gonna then cool that massive heat exchanger. Why do we have such a massive heat exchanger, or I should say heat exchangers? Is because of the power that this is producing, and because it is a twin turbo V8, turbos produce more heat. So this being a mid-engine, and this being a convertible, it does have the see-through window where you can see the blue engine cover and the build plate in there, because this is hand assembled at the GM Performance Center in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And I like the way they also give you a ZR1 number badge back here with the stats. But I'm gonna give you the stats anyways, even though Lori's doing such a good job showing off that badge. It is that LT7 5.5 liter flat plane crankshaft V8, taken from the Z06. This has 2 massive turbochargers that have been added. It also has a second set of fuel injectors, unique pistons, rods, and cylinder heads, a totally different intake, and of course special tuning to produce 1,064 horsepower, 828 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to an 8-speed dual clutch transmission, the Tremec 8-speed. It's been retuned to handle the power. 0 to 60 in about 2.2 seconds. Quarter mile in 9.5 seconds. So if you owe Dom Toretto a 10-second car, you could give him this one. So it's 9.5 seconds at 149 miles per hour. Top speed, this is really crazy, 233 miles per hour. MPGs, do you really give a damn? 12 in the city, 18 on the highway, and the vehicle weighs 3,831 pounds. Now, when it comes to talking more about this vehicle, and we're gonna go back up front here, you gotta remember, there's a lot of tradition here. Why is the engine cover blue? It's because when they were developing the C6 ZR1, it was called the Blue Devil. That's the nickname, the code name they gave it. Just like they called the original ZR1 King of the Hill. And remember that C4 ZR1 went from 1990 to 1995. Started off with 375 horsepower, which was a lot back then, and then they ended off with 405 horsepower. Crazy to think that we went from that to what we have now, 1,064 horsepower. Freaking nuts. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire it up so we can hear it sound. Guys, we're inside this 2026 C8 ZR1, the return of the ZR1. And remember, if you know your Corvette history, ZR1 stands for Zora's Racer. Zora Arkus Duntov, the true father of the Corvette. Now, I know you're probably saying, well, Joe, it's time for me to treat myself. I've worked hard, I've provided for my family, I've helped people out. But I think I want to do something for me. And this ZR1 seems to be it. How much is it? Now remember, this is a 3LZ, Sebring Orange, which is an optional color, and it's a convertible. You're looking at an MSRP of $212,000. But let's see how it stacks up. 2 cars that cost twice as much as this one. To the door panels. This one has the optional cool gray interior. Nice pop with the orange, the light gray. Look at all the stitching. There's more stitching on that than what you would find when they were making the original American flag. When Betsy Ross was stitching the American flag, more stitching on that door panel. You do get 2 memory seat settings, the Bose premium sound system with the aluminum speaker grille cover, and then I love how on the white, it's got the orange stitching to go with the Sebring Orange. Aluminum all around the switchgear for your windows, your door locks, stitching along the bottom of the door panel. And then the door pocket is large enough to where you can get 4 good old American hot dogs from Costco in there with extra sauerkraut and relish. Now going from the door panel to the dash, the 2-tone continues, really gives it a nice sporty, bright, vibrant feel in here with the stitching. And then you'll notice for 2026, There's no longer the waterfall of buttons. You have a large oak crab handle for your passenger, but no actual switchgear. Everything is now in the all-new infotainment system. Over 12 inches in size, full touchscreen. So you have your Google Maps and everything just like before, but everything now is all within the screen. You can go to your cameras. Cameras have always been so good on these Corvettes. The camera quality is just stupendous. You could bring up your climate controls. You could also do things like your performance gauges. And when I say gauges, there's many different types of gauges that you could have, including a stopwatch, which is kind of cool to have all that. Your boost pressure, because we have the turbos. Now, when it comes to your heated and ventilated seats, it's in the screen. You have 3 stages of ventilated, 3 stages of heated, but you have to touch the screen. Let me throw it into reverse here. Backup camera looks great. You got the trajectory lines, and guess what? The orange matches the Sebring orange. Also, you have your modes, and of course, you're going to get graphics like that, to where it's sort of like playing Gran Turismo, or some people say Turismo, including a snow mode. But who in the hell is going to take a ZR1 out in the snow? If you do, hey, more power to you. You also have your new performance setup. So when you go Zora mode, you could actually make your adjustments very easily by how you want to have each of those things set up. So this has all been redone for the ZR1. And then, of course, we can't forget performance traction management. That's all new and updated for the ZR1. Real volume knob, cranking that down. And then to get back home, this is the main page right here, and it shows you how I made the adjustments. You have your nice toggle switches for your AC controls. Wireless charging, this is a wireless charging pad. You have your pull push system for your Tremec DCT, that dual clutch transmission. I'm still gonna zonk it, that there's no manual available, and you get these cheap little plastic controls for the AC vents. Now, for your front mounted camera, you actually have the button right there, and then that's gonna activate your front mounted camera. And then you also have the toggle switch here. This is for your different drive modes, and this is for your front lift assist. So that's where they mounted it now on the new center console. 2 cup holders. You still have the cross flags on the key fob with your remote start. Open this up, it only opens for the driver. The hell with the passenger, you don't get anything. There's felt lining in here, a USB-A, a USB-C, and you could probably put, I would say, 2 Rolexes in here. I know that's like the cool thing to do, right? The cool thing to do is to wear your Rolex and to show it off when you're posting your Instagram pictures, right? You do the steering wheel thing. I'm not really into that kind of stuff. That's just not me. Over my shoulder, you have that center speaker with the ZR1 badge there, wireless charging, and then you have the seats. I love the two-tone, the nice bolstering, the carbon fiber, the cross flags up top. You do have your full power assist controls for the driver, for the passenger, because this is 3LZ, Alcantara everywhere in here. And then to wrap it off, you do have a digital rearview mirror. The one thing, if I would have spec'd this, I want some orange seat belts. That's a zonk. I want my 5 extra horsepower for the orange seat belts. These don't count. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I have a carbon fiber steering wheel with the ZR1 badge on it I want to show you. Come on over. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel of the ZR1. Of course, you're going to get that ZR1 plate to welcome you. That aluminum sill plate looks great. Pedal box, right out of a race car. You have your aluminum dead pedal, brake and throttle. Of course, I have my seat controls just like the passenger side. And then the seats themselves, I don't think enough people give Chevrolet credit, not only for the seat design, because they're comfortable, but they also hold you in so nicely. But I'm 6 feet tall, plenty of room in here, and I know taller drivers that are even taller than me that have fit inside the Corvette very comfortably. Steering wheel, you're gonna wanna rub your hands all over it. The leather, the stitching, the orange stitching, you even have the orange top dead center stripe, flat bottom, flat top, with more stitching and leather on the horn button. There's the Zora button. You hit that to go full Zora mode. Everything else is flat black. You do have massive surfboard style carbon fiber paddles to go up and down that 8-speed dual clutch. It is also an electric and tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then you have your 6-inch, this is new with the new dash, 6-inch touchscreen display. Look at that, with a G meter, you can find the G spot. All of those goodies, kind of cool the way they added that in there. Gauges are very important. And then of course you have the dash. That is now 14 inches in size. And when you change the modes, it's cool to see how the gauges change with the modes. So really, really nice to have that flexibility in what mode you want to be in, but also what information is being displayed. Up top, you'll notice the carbon fiber for the hood and the system to snug all of that nice and fit inside the dash. And there is a massive head-up display with tachometer, with speedometer, with a G meter, and all those other goodies. Now, there is a trunk. Even though there's no more front-mounted trunk up front, you still have the trunk in the back, and yes, you could put your freaking set of golf clubs, but I don't care about that. And I don't think you care about that. You've seen it on other C8 reviews. What I'm ready to do is we're gonna go on throttle in this ZR1. All right, guys, we're behind the wheel of this ZR1. I have everything in full Zora mode. We're gonna do launch control on throttle. Wow. Wow. My God. The thrust coming from behind my head. It's unbelievable what they have done with this car. I mean, being rear-wheel drive, having all that torque and the thrust. It's interesting because, you know, one of the complaints with the Z06 from people that are not familiar with a flat plane crankshaft V8 is that it doesn't have grunt down low in the lower RPMs. The Stingray actually has more grunt lower, obviously based off of the design of the engine and how it performs. This negates all of that because it takes the 5.5 liter V8, adding the twin turbochargers negates any kind of waiting for the torque. I mean, it's instantaneous and you are sitting on the tip of a freaking cruise missile. Just like any other Corvette, the interior is so well sorted, especially with the changes that they made for 2026 with the center console, the new digital gauge cluster, the new infotainment system. But it's like you have to be on your A+++ game behind the wheel of this, because it is just so violent in its acceleration. The sound, it feels, I mean, you could feel the sound in your freaking body. That's how good this thing sounds. Especially when you just hear the boost, the thrust. It's crazy. It really is crazy what they've done with this vehicle. What I want to show you though is that the ZR1 is not just about going fast in a straight line. Get ready for this. Second gear, on throttle! On those carbon ceramic brake rotors. Look at this. You rock it from corner to corner in this thing. Oh my God! The performance traction management system works with you, not against you. I mean, like I said, it's like, how are they able to produce this
for a street car. And I know it's not a normal production street car, but the technology in this, taken right from the C8 GT3R program, the racing that they've done with the car and all that engineering, the traction control, the launch control, it just all comes together. It's violent in every which way, acceleration, braking, and handling. What I did was I dropped the rear glass right over our shoulder so that we could get a little extra sound in here, just to really create the experience. Left foot on the brake, right foot on throttle. On throttle, here we go. What can I say? It performs like no other C8 Corvette. And the crazy thing is, yes, I know there is the ZR1X, but you gotta remember, it's gonna be a different experience because of the all-wheel drive, because of the extra weight. Yeah, you get extra horsepower, but it's just gonna be a different experience. Yes, it's faster, but there's just something so pure about this ZR1, knowing that you don't have any kind of electric motor assist that's doing anything. That's where it feels really good. And how you could really work the rear end, and with the performance traction management system, it just, she dances so well, so well. And then all the other interior accoutrements, I mean, the appointments in here with the leather, the two-tone, these seats are great, the whole shabam. Wow. All right, guys, just dropped the top, and we're gonna see what this ZR1 is all about. Open air experience. You ready? On throttle! It's freaking just mind-blowing. It's stupid. It's stupid how fast this car is. It really is. And the fact, like I said, no electric anything to it. None. Wow. Chevrolet has knocked out of the park with this ZR1. And I really think it's a shame that they actually decided to come out with the ZR1X so soon, because they didn't give the ZR1 a chance to really shine as much as they should have. So that to me is a little bit of a head scratcher on why they would have done that. I have no reasoning behind it whatsoever. And as you can see, the top goes up seamless. You can put it down while you're moving, put it up while you're moving, so no issues there. This thing is just, I mean, it's out of control. It's really out of control. the throttle! Unbelievable. Just really unbelievable. But I hope you've had a good on-throttle experience with me. I definitely have. I hope it was good for you, because it was good for me, if you get what I'm saying. We're gonna wrap it up, get back to where it all started. So I'll see you in a split second.
All right, guys. Talk about having your brain just melted. That's what this ZR1 does to your brain, especially that frontal lobe with the way that it performs. But we definitely got to thank Trevor, Chad, and the rest of the crew over at Chevrolet for getting us access to this drop-top ZR1. Now it's your turn. Let me know what you think. Is this the must-own supercar? Especially when it comes down to price. It really undercuts a lot of those key big players. But let me know your thoughts in that comment section. If you're new to the channel though and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Reds family. Got to give it up to Latte Lori. She was shaken and not stirred on this one when we went on throttle together. So thank you, Lori, for all that you do and sharing the journey. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.